further with Nazifa Haqpal. She's a former Afghan diplomat and development practitioner. So first of all, Nazifa, let's react to that news by that ruling by the ECJ. What does it mean for you and the many Afghan women who have, of course, been oppressed by the Taliban?
Well, thank you for having me first. I think it's a very welcoming decision. It's been more than 3 years that Afghan women are advocating that what's happening in Afghanistan is gender persecution. In fact, many practitioners and international law experts have called it amounted to be gender apartheid. So I think it's a very welcoming decision, and we hope that this get implemented by the member states.
Indeed, it is, I'm sure, a very welcome decision for Afghan women. Now, the story just before you was about another summit or another discussion on the future of Afghanistan that once again has denied the rights of 50% of the population to be heard and have a voice. The struggle of Afghan women continues to this day. We know what's happening in Afghanistan, what the Taliban are doing. Can you, though, tell us how proud it makes you feel as an Afghan woman, or as I should say, a proud Afghan woman? How does it make you feel when the world is denying women their voice?
I mean, I think we have to remember that what has happened during the past 20 years, there was a immensely social transformation happened. And today, although we see very active erasure of women from public spheres by the Taliban, by their draconian rules, but we see that the Afghan women in exile and in Afghanistan, they are strategizing, they are in different forms, they are using different avenues in order to hold the Taliban accountable, not only the Taliban accountable, but also using international legal mechanisms in order to hold the world accountable, that they should not deny what is happening in Afghanistan. They should not overlook, and these international rule-based systems should be implemented and applied in Afghanistan. If we cannot apply these systems from ICJ to ICC to European Court of Justice or ECJ, laws, regulations, institutions, so then it will be not useful in any other settings. So this is the time that we are using broader international platform in order to stop what is happening in Afghanistan.
Now, Nazifa, rulings like the ECJ today, of course, they're very much welcome. But what is your hope for Afghan women? Can you see a future, especially a future in Afghanistan, where you can live free and fair?
I mean, we know that the current situation is bleak, dark, but at the same time, we understand that the status quo is not sustainable. There are forces that are tirelessly working inside Afghanistan and outside Afghanistan, not only women, political and democratic forces, in order to end the suppression of the Taliban, not only suppressing women's voices, but generally the people of Afghanistan voices. So despite all these bleak situation, I'm very hopeful that the future will be in our hand, and not only that Afghan women will have their rights in Afghanistan, but also there will be a political transformation and the status quo will change.
And what would you like the international community to do, and especially women? I mean, we've seen, women, very famous celebrities like Meryl Streep coming to raise their voice for Afghan women. So do you need more people like this, more high-profile women especially, the likes of Malala? I know that she's also been part, lending her voice to the struggle of Afghan women. Do you want to see more people like this that can really help your cause?
I mean, I will reaffirm and emphasize on a very famous quote by Martin Luther King that, that a threat to justice is anywhere is threat to justice everywhere. So I think that this is a time for solidarity from feminists across the globe to come together and not to be silent what's happening in Afghanistan. And I think their voices, their act are powerful, it's strong, and history will judge them if they don't do so. So I think they will be very beneficial. And we have already seen after the Security Council meeting, when the celebrities like Strip was there and many others, we already seen there is a kind of momentum at the moment at international stage, from ECJ ruling to the resolution that passed on 19th of September by the EU Parliament, but also the four countries that have come forward in order to hold the Taliban accountable according to CEDAW against International Court of Justice, or ICJ. So there is a momentum, and these voices has impact, and we should use them, and we are very thankful for that.
Indeed, and as you say, momentum is hugely important, and I hope more women do not stay silent and they do lend their voices to the cause of Afghan women. Nazifa Haqpal, thank you so much for being on TRT World.
Thank you for having me.